Everybody, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woohoo! Way to go, guys. All right. Hey, Paula, what do you think?
It was back in February of 2015 that we got together with SGS in the office on the east side there, or the west side, and started the discussion about a potential partnership between ourselves and SGS. And after a year and a half, many of you have toured the result of that, so we're very excited about that. Now, many of you have heard us refer to the lab as the Ontario Grains Lab, but it's my pleasure today to announce the official name of the lab, and that is the Grains Analytical Testing Laboratory, and that's what we'll be referring to it from here on in. Now, this marks the first time a producer organization, and I guess I didn't introduce myself at the outset, but I'm Barry Senft. I'm CEO of Grain Farmers of Ontario. But this marks the first time a producer organization has got together with a private company to develop a lab of this nature anywhere in Canada, not just Ontario, but anywhere in Canada. Now, the lab is a full analytical quality testing facility for cereal crops, and it has the potential to include barley, corn, oats, and soybeans in the future. We're starting with wheat, but our plan is to grow this into the other commodities that at least GFO represents here in Ontario. It will perform market development and research projects for grain farmers of Ontario and have the full commercial capabilities for Ontario, Canadian, and North American millers and processors. And at this time, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our manager of the lab. Those of you, again, that have toured the lab would have met Paula. Where is Paula? Right, Paula, we are very pleased that we've attracted Paula into this initiative. You'll be the lead in the lab with the development as what we feel a leading analytical testing facility in Canada. Now, Paulo brings more than 12 years of experience in manufacturing of food ingredients, including most recently working with Rogers Food Limited, working as their technical or director of quality and technical sales. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Biological Sciences from the University of Lethbridge, a diploma in Pure and Applied Science from John Abbott College, a diploma of Practical Milling from the Association of Operative Millers, and is also a certified baker through the American Institute of Baking. So we are very, very excited in having Paulo work with us on this initiative. Just from a GFO perspective, a lot of people have been involved in this initiative, but from a GFO perspective, I want to particularly thank Nicole McKellar, our manager of development, market development, and putting this macro idea of a lab into the deliverable you see today. So join with me in thanking Nicole and all the hard work that she's done. So. At this time, I want to call on Mark Brock, our chair of Grain Farmers of Ontario, to the podium. Mark.
Thanks, Barry. I feel better now after last week. We were at another event and I forgot to introduce Barry, but he actually forgot to introduce himself today, so I don't feel so bad now. But anyways, it's truly a pleasure to be here today and see so many people out for the opening of the Grains Analytical Testing Laboratory. It's a very exciting time for us at Grain Farmers of Ontario. And we are really thrilled to partner with SGS Canada on this initiative that's going to add value-add opportunities for our 28,000 farm members. The lab will help Grain Farmers of Ontario identify new marketing opportunities for our farm members by gaining a better understanding of the quality of Ontario's cereal crops. The lab will also provide technical expertise in interpreting the analytical data and help position Ontario as a top supplier of high-quality cereal commodities. The development of the lab could not come at a better time. Favorable weather conditions in the harvest of 2015 actually let us get over 1 million acres of winter wheat planted in the ground, and we're just starting to fire up the combines. Some combines are going down in the Windsor area already harvesting the crop, And it's a significant increase over last year's crop, which was only 600,000 acres in 2015. But the ability to market the wheat crop is critical with the world production at all-time highs. Understanding the quality and function of our crop is a key part of positioning them in the best markets, which is an opportunity that will be provided by the Grain Analytical Testing Laboratory. International and domestic markets are also changing. Each year there's an increase in demand for the amount of quality information required. This also applies at the consumer level, where people want more transparency from the food they eat, and the Grain Analytical Laboratory is well positioned to meet these needs as well. Ontario may be a small player when it comes to production, but has been able to differentiate itself through consistently high quality products. The lab will not only help us meet the immediate needs of our industry, but will also help position Ontario in the future to be a leader in domestic and export markets. So again, on behalf of our board and our membership, we're really excited about this venture with SGS Canada, and we're looking forward to the heaps of information we'll cleave out of this process and drive our industry forward. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Barry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark, for those remarks. And I just want to take this time to thank the Grain Farmers of Ontario's Board of Directors in the support of this project. Like I said before, this is a first for a farm organization and the private industry, and I think just an example of more things to come. And I think it was quite exciting that our board saw fit to support this in the early stages of these types of partnerships. I want to thank again the board, and along with our delegates and our members who have been very supportive through resolutions, in fact, supporting the idea of our partnership in a laboratory. I'd like to introduce Dawn Zabodian, who is the VP of Agriculture and Food with SGS Canada. Dawn and I go back a few years. Back pre-1997, Dawn worked at Sask Wheat Pool. You were there about a year before. Everybody worked at Sask Wheat Pool at one point or another, but Dawn was there a couple of years before I left. The other guy that we've been working with from SGS is Fraser Gilbert. He did the opposite. When I came to the Grain Commission, Fraser left, so we all have an interesting background, but I'd like to call on Dawn for remarks.
Thank you, Barry. I just had a flashback going back 20 years when Barry says, "Dawn, are you paying attention?" Brings me back to the board meetings. Barry was on the board and I was on the management team, and I'd make a presentation and he'd usually say, "Dawn, I don't think you're paying attention." But it is good to be here, and great day, and I appreciate everyone taking the time to join us today to help really kick off our new lab. The lab, it's a milestone event for the agriculture and food industry, not only in Ontario as well as in Canada. And any of you that have spent any time on the website taking a look at SGS, you'll have a sense for our global reach, and I really do believe it gives us a platform to take quality and technology and science based here in Ontario into the global market. Further to thank yous, definitely I want to thank the grain farmers of Ontario, particularly Mark, Barry, Nicole, for having the vision and the foresight to help us set up the new lab. It's an exciting time, as I say, to be in agriculture and food. I've said that for many years, but I'm carrying this little loaf around me. Yes, we do have wheat and bread in Saskatchewan, but you know, the point that I really want to make is when you think about ingredients, you think about wheat, and you understand, anyone that's spent any time in a bakery, you've got mixer operators and they're in there with their hands, and it's so much an art to create the right dough and to get the characteristics correct. But what we see more and more is that even the mixer operators, but also the millers and certainly the people that are receiving wheat all over the world are relying more and more and more on science. So this new lab, the first in Canada, a couple in the US, but it provides a platform for us to add that transparency into the pipeline and provide that information from an analytical standpoint and a science-based standpoint into the users, into the frozen dough bakers, into the food ingredient suppliers. So the science is so important. In terms of capabilities, just before I do that, I should as well acknowledge, as Barry has, within our SGS team, a lot of folks, our whole team has worked really hard to pull the lab together and to get us to where we are today. Certainly Fraser, Nomini, Jack, our location manager here, Paulo, thank you for joining our team. Renuka is here, I believe. Oh, leading the way with your beautiful smile. Thank you all for your great work in getting us to where we are today. The lab, in terms of capabilities, has been touched on briefly, providing better information on the quality aspects of the crop and the seed quality. So it's starting with the earth, of course, and going into the seed, breeding development, opening up and strengthening Ontario and Canada's presence into global markets by providing a stronger end-use collaboration with the people that are actually going to be touching and working with the product when it goes onto the store shelf. So it's this pipeline. It's a line of sight. When you think about millers, bakers, food ingredient people, that's one part of it, but also with consumers, people that have families. They want to have trust and confidence in the safety of the product that they're consuming and eating, and trust is what SGS is all about. That's our brand. That's who we are. We're all about people. We have the best, not only the best team in the industry today, but also when you look at our reach in terms of a global platform, we've got offices and labs in 100+ countries. We've been around for over 100 years. So partnering with the GFO is it's a wonderful opportunity to get closer to farmers and also to leverage that and develop new markets, maintain current markets with good quality products, and that's what the relationship is all about. So with that, again, I appreciate everyone being here. I'll keep my comments very, very short, but I hope everyone's had a chance to enjoy some lunch and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don, for those comments. Somebody was asking me before the program about why the partnership with SGS, and I thought Don might mention this, but SGS has a significant presence not only in Canada but in the world. I think there's 85,000 employees worldwide. 85,000 employees. Significant presence in Canada in the grain industry. Been around the presence, 25 years, Fraser, 25 to 30 years. So we're partnering with somebody that knows the grain industry from both the Canadian perspective along with the worldwide perspective. So we're quite pleased with this partnership.